Hello everyone, so nice to see your smiling faces. Let's get this week started off right. If you're new here, welcome. My name is AlexBeltran and I talk about tricks, tips, techniques, and everything real estate lifestyle. So if you're in the real estate business, considering joining the real estate business, or just want to expand your knowledge on everything that the real estate business encompasses, you might want to consider subscribing. Let's jump into it. In my last week's Tri-Tip Tuesday, I talked about HOAs and what they are. You should totally check that video out because in this video, I talk about how to qualify a good HOA from a bad HOA. Here's a brief summary of what an HOA is.
A homeowners association is an organization within a subdivision, planned community, or condominiums that makes and enforces rules for the properties and the residents. Those who purchase property within the HOA jurisdiction automatically become members and are required to pay fees.
Thanks, last week's me. I couldn't have said it any better myself. To start off with, it's important to know how an HOA is structured. The Homeowners Association is comprised of a group of people that live in the neighborhood, and they create all the conditions, covenants, and restrictions, CCRs. And then you have the management company that the HOA uses. The management company is the side that manages all the money that the association collects, as well as enforces the rules. Not to belittle the HOA board, but they're not that important when it comes to qualifying the HOA as a whole. What you really want to look at is the management side. Like everything in life, you're going to want to know who's in charge. Know who the manager is, know who the assistant manager is. You're going to want to give them a call and ask them a couple of questions. By asking these questions, you should be able to get a pretty good idea of how well the management manages the HOA. You should totally ask more questions, but they are dependent on what the HOA offers. The first question you should ask, what are the amenities? Now, keep in mind that HOAs vary wildly in the type of amenities that they offer. Some of them don't offer any amenities at all. Now, let's just say for argument's sake that this particular HOA offers a community pool. It's a good thing to ask how old the pool is, when was it last updated? Because a good HOA should have the reserves to maintain and upkeep that pool. And let's just say that the pool breaks and the HOA doesn't have the money to repair the pool. Guess who's stuck footing the bill? If you guessed HOA members, you'd be right. They will bill you in a form of an assessment. Now, quick side note, you can actually see the reserve report. All you have to do is ask for it. The next question you should ask, are there any assessments? Now, it's important to know that if they say yes, this doesn't disqualify the HOA. Much like everything in life, unexpected things happen. And if they fall within reason, that should be fine. To go back to the pool example, there is scheduled maintenance and there is a shelf life for a pool that are known from the beginning. Pool filters, winterizing, cleaning, I'm sure there's more to it. But an HOA should have the reserves to cover that. If the HOA is sending assessments for maintenance, then run away. Run away as fast as you can. Because those types of fees should be covered within the HOA dues. Here's a big one. Are there any litigations? This is very important for multiple reasons. One, obviously, to know what litigations are going on. And two, the lender might not lend you money if there's an active litigation going on in that HOA, which means you might not be able to purchase a property within that HOA anyway. Obviously, always ask your lender what their restrictions are, but that seems to be the case. How much are dues? When was the last time they went up? When was the last time they went down? Are they billed monthly, bi-weekly, bi-monthly, quarterly, yearly? These are important things to know for your budgeting's sake. Another good question to ask is, do they cover insurance policies? If so, what company handles the insurance? Call that insurance company, see what they cover. See if it adds value to you. If you live in an earthquake zone, flooding zone, or hurricane zone, it could be cheaper than purchasing that insurance on your own. Who handles the maintenance? In condos and townhouses, for the most part, not always, HOAs cover the exterior of the building. Anything that has to do with paint, maintenance, lawn care. It's important to know what they don't cover as well. Sometimes they don't paint your front door and you have to paint that yourself. So know what they do and don't maintain. Are there any rental restrictions? If you plan on living in that property for the rest of your life, this might not be very important to you. But if you're an investor, or you plan on living in the property and eventually moving out and turning it into an investment property, you might want to know this ahead of time. You don't want to be that investor that buys a property to rent it out only to find out that there's rent restrictions. There are absolutely more questions that can be asked, but it all depends on whether or not the HOA offers it. But these questions will give you a good idea of how the management company manages the HOA. And now it's time to pound the pavement! Okay, maybe not that dramatic, but definitely drive around the neighborhood. Does it look like they're enforcing the rules and regulations? Does everything look pretty well kept? Are common areas well maintained? In combination with these questions, you should have a pretty good idea of how well the HOA is achieving its goal to preserve and increase the the community value. Looking into the HOA is a very important step. The last thing you want to do is move into a badly managed HOA. You're literally going to be throwing your money away on something that doesn't work and that you're forced to pay into. Better to just remove all the bad HOAs from the get-go. Question of the day. Do you live in an HOA and do you like it? Go on ahead and answer in the comments section down below. Well, that's it for this video, folks. If you found this video informative, go on ahead and hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. I'm getting ready to start uploading 3 times a week, so stick around for that. The real estate market is heating up. That shook the camera a little bit, but that's fine. Get out there, hustle. See you guys next week. Peace.